Hatochin karachitab kalenjin eng ketesiet noton neichame nebo Kass TV kotigeyote en nguni komwaun en tai ale emetab raini kendoi kelchin kot mising ketindoi ogilinik en studio. Kitindoi inendet Philip Langat ne ko ogiliot ne naat kot mising. Kimi kora Dr. Felix Keton inendet kora ko ogiliot nebunu komosta noton nebo county nebo Kericho. Kemoche kenai kotinye ngalekab impeachment testai nguni en Senate. Watile kusingong konyek tugul en mengikab county nebo Kericho Senate. Tos imuch kelionji governor nenywanet Dr. Eric Mutai en betab Jumatatu akasitab ngalolen senators kora ko kusingong emet komugul en wikit nenyone Senate koting'one ngalolen kotinygei ak boisiet anan keisto en boisiet rubeiwotab president Rigathi Gachagua kobaten tos mwoe ne ng'atutik akoi yon kimi en nguni ebata impeachment noton ngot kisirto rubeiwotab president kele kakemuch keisto en boisiet ko tos ne much ko kapkirwok koker en betab raini komiten ogil chemiten kapkirwok kotieme komwa kole tos kimonyolu kotestai boisiet nekibo kaumetab keretab biikab emet kobaten mome kamen ng'utum ane komongen mising ng'alek ng'atutik kobaten kimiten ogilin streamitab raini natauren Dr. Felix nekit nemuch imwa korong kotinygei ng'alekab impeachment noton nebo rubeiwotab president kinet biikab kutit chekernen nguni kotebengei kole une emet en ole kimi en nguni.
Kongoi mising en Kass TV bwana Shadrack Mutai ako kongoi kora biikab Kalenjin kochomwon atachak en ketesietab Kass TV. Netai korong en ngalekab impeachment, if you may permit me to conceptualize and contextualize and actually problematize. Ko ngalekab impeachment, it's a political tool. Ago even though tindo aspects about the legal, lakini it's a political tool, never governance. Ago if you see the edifice and nigi chapter katiba, especially in deputy president, for instance, go and in Article 150, go on the grounds and amune the reasons why sige impeaching the deputy president. Ago natai ko the grounds and ko amune ko gross violation in constitution and go near any other law. Neboengi ko yanga if there are reasons to believe that the deputy president has violated the national law or international law. Ago the other ground go ground gross misconduct. So in the grounds you go and you go the mover, not the motion. The question that was before the National Assembly, it's whether it meets the substratum test in both those grounds. And having read the said in motion and subjected the same to my lawyerly eyes, or to a greater extent, go meeting the threshold. Another aspect, the procedural aspect of impeachment, the procedural law, Article 145 about the Constitution. Article 150 and the man and impeaching the deputy president, the man and impeaching the president. So the procedures in the deputy president impeachment applies mutatis mutandis. In other words, deputy president in the president. I go from the procedural aspect, the motion was supported in by more than a third in the motion, which meets the threshold about the Constitution. The third thing about the motion in Kogo supported more than in the two-third. Supported the two-third about the members of the National Assembly. So it now goes to the next level. That is the Senate. The Senate now we are expecting it, which we called in the trial chamber, considering all the charges, all the allegations. Deliberating, the opportunity. Deputy President Gachagua could defend them. And if the senators are satisfied, they will also vote. And if the two-thirds of the members of the Senate co-approve the charges, the deputy president will stand impeached. However, having said the procedural or the manner or the how to impeach, there are also some safety mechanisms. Jamii katiba. Netai gorongi ko ngalega public participation. Ngalega public participation it's public participation is part of the national values under Article 10. Ago gora yege gora gospet and the president about the courts, especially the Wambora case, the element of public participation should be there. Otherwise the process will be null and void. There are also other safety mechanisms, right to fair administrative action. Not that the Article 47. Recently, Deputy President Gogi a chance he was heard, and he will also be heard in the Senate. So to me, from where I sit, all the safety mechanisms have been complied with. But above all, it should be noted Then ngalek impeachment, those are political tools. And we urged our courts of law to exercise what we call judicial restraint. This being when there is an element of political question doctrine. So impeachment, the architecture of our constitution, impeachment, it was to donate to the independent arms of government. The Senate and the National Assembly, impeachment. Governors, it was to donate to the county assemblies, and also to donate to the Senate. So we expect only the courts to exercise restraint, especially where there is a substantial compliance with the constitution. So we humbly urge the courts to exercise what we call the judicial restraint. That's what I can say.
Okay. Philip Langat, it's a political process. En kerengung komi tanga bwatet ni bwati gele mujot kostage en boisiet regarding Gachagua kobaten gi mogol man nostege en boisiet yon goit tait noton nebo bunge en betut noton nebo amut ko goitet no kot mising nebo MPs bokol laeng ak tumonostoen cho imuch ko mogol matinye kayanet yoche ko en boisiet so tos much kemwane en kimien nguni sa political process lakini en ngale amatutu kora ko angen ale ikago much kwa mana ichek tindo kerenywan independent senate negit nemuch imwa kotinga kabwatet ko ibwate gele ndo koistoge en boisiet asimat ko boko sirto senet kole kemuch keisto inendet
kongoi mising Shadrack amun karitachech en ketesiet sikobit kemwochi biikab gaa ak kemwochi the general public ngalekab impeachment ko yon kemwa kotomo korong amwaun anan akonin maoni chechuk mi kityo agenge kit nekomoche amwa contrary to what my brother said. Ngalekab public participation go magat keyai public participation en kit age tugul ot yon kipitisoni ng'atutik en bunge kemoche keyai public participation kekas ngalekab arorutikab boror kekas kele lene bororiet lakini momong'u ole en ngalek cheu impeachment amun ngalekab impeachment ketinye kotomo kebe boror ketinye korong kit nebo representative democracy amun every constituency ko voten their MP for them to be represented in the parliament. So makimuche kora keyai ngalekab public participation throughout okot en ngalek cheu chu amun it will amount to a mini referendum. You can imagine collecting all the public views in 290 constituencies. You see, so that will amount to almost a mini referendum. Kuni golinen anan question nyalo ketebenge ako amache kora I want to agree with my brother kole sometimes nyalo konget kotini ako taken a backstage en ngalekab political processes amune kokikero ino kowendi Njeri klene women rep nebo Kirinyaga County kokawo kotini before Justice Richard Mwongo konyor order kole nyolu keyai public participation. But I disagree sharply with that. Amun public participation fine, like we don't have the time for that. It will amount to a very big exercise. So I wanted to respectfully disagree with my friend. Public participation public participation is a national value. It is something that must be carried. Like in the impeachment, which is a political process, should not be done every time. Now, me koto matter. Me to mawalji Shadrack in. Kina kamwa Shadrack ole. Why those nyolu ko resign en rubeyuot. Amaja mwongita agenge Shadrack. Rubeyuondani ko kicheng kura akine. Anan kotienge advisors chechik. Ko komwochi kole you were part of the political process. Sikai konyor President, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei konyor kura yani kinyor ko amun en rubeyuondanyin amun kiingen mobilization skills chebo Rigathi Gachagua. So for him to resign kobwote akine kole kinyor mandate nebo biik more than 7 million, in excess of 7 million. So the resignation it was a choice, it was part of the cards, it was part of a choice for him to resign. Lakini kotienge in advice chekonyor chebo political advisors chechikakine kokolenji advisors manyolu ko resign amun this was a general election exercise ako ki participate akine in the formation of the government. Lakini kit kityo nomwoe ak amoche amwoe kora kastoik kyok alenji ndakor ko kele kakoisto Senate Gachagua ko the legal repercussions of that ko very dangerous. among ingekele once you've been impeached you can no longer look for an office ako that is one risk, one big risk. Lakini ongetoke kule kole nyikanani ane anyikaneta kwa my son of Mau Mau ako I can face this thing throughout the end. So we wait and see.
Permit me rejoinder on the question of public participation. The reason why we incorporated public participation as one of the national values under Article 10, it was to ensure that people are involved in every process of governance. Me public participation ngalega legislation, ngalega oversight, ngalega impeachment, public participation. So the reasoning why public participation was important was also because of the decision. The Bogotini and Wambora case. Impeachment it was not constitutional. It was null and void because there was no public participation. And that's why I applaud it. I applaud the mover and the motion, even the National Assembly. Because in the impeachment regard the public participation. And to me, in the National Assembly, go meet the threshold of public participation. In regard the Gashago are right to be heard. And that's why I'm even also telling also our members of county assemblies, especially in county assembly of Kericho, impeachment governor line magai public participation. So to that extent, the impeachment of Kericho County Kericho governor is null and void because there was no public participation. So I don't know why my learned friend is saying that there should not be public participation and you only get injected the governor and I'm going to be president.
No. Please. Allow me to interject on that. Felix, amaje igun very clear.
Yes.
Kama nyun raine ketesiet kengalalen ngalegap governor nebo Kericho. Ingawaje I appreciate the topic today kule kamwa shatra kule ngalegap impeachment season and my impeachment season. Kagingalale ngalegap public
No,
participation.
I was only giving the example.
Matimu ile amune asiale in I don't want to comment. Ma mucha comment na mun mo the instructions. Yes.
Let me give an example.
Yes.
Kawira Mwangaza.
Yes.
Kawira Mwangaza was impeached agongi magai public participation. And from the Wambora case, what I can say, the impeachment of Kawira Mwangaza will be overturned because there was no public participation. But the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua will not be overturned by any court of law because first, there was a public participation. Secondly, he was accorded a right to a fair administrative action. That's what I'm saying, and that's why what we are saying is the public participation is an important element and the procedure of impeachment. Yes.
Yere Shadrach, kini ko amwa kityane. Ako amwa with a lot of respect, tremendous respect. Ko kamwa kityo kele en ngalechu bo ngatutik ko iman mie keyai public participation. Lakini kamwa in window anan in ngele kakiyai public participation, for example, for purposes of the impeachment of the deputy president. Ko kakimwa kele yoche keyai public participation anan kenyor arorutikab biik chebo boror from 290 constituencies. Baka ngalechu bo governance chon ko mangololi amun chon ko it is within the county. But I'm looking at the practicality of carrying out, a public participation in 290 constituencies. We can even borrow from other jurisdictions. Angotiboti kiyachin impeachment Donald Trump. And angotiboti kiyachin impeachment and President of Brazil, Dilma Rousseff. Kogi makia, it goes without saying that we have a representative democracy. Kele pi chigi elected go wabunge, kochotok. Chegerwe ngalek ana chotok che kikikochi kikikochi authority koba bunge ako tet ngalek ko ole nyolundo. So ma isha ngalek public participation ko agere the practicality of it. Ako namwa kora ale kemwa ngaliondo no ni wan une ndagi in kamwa Felix kole en kesi ni Martin Wambora. I agree 100%. Public participation is a national under Article 118 of the Constitution. Very important. But then there is also another case in Justice Kariuki Mate versus Wambora, where the Supreme Court also pronounced themselves very clearly that the court must exercise judicial restraint. So the outcome of the Senate is when now we can approach the courts to interpret for us the decisions that were made by either the Senate or the Parliament. I mean the Parliament. So enane Shadrach inamwa agamwachini kora kostoik chok. Alenjini en ngalekab public participation is very key. and I want to support even Felix on the issue of amunga machin kama machin among ngalek governor nebo Kericho amun I don't want to lakini in ngalek ab rubeyu nebo president ko ke public participation ko baten kityo kolen ne imagine ke public participation in 290 constituencies. The logistical work that is you have to put in is like a small referendum. So kagere kityo na ole are we subverting the role of the parliament in it? Because kinge kele parliament ko konye kyo amun kikelecten bichu kolya koba kosuiwe ngalek ak koten ngalek en parliament ko ole nyolundo. So ora kot kelenjo nyone in every situation ko yoche kobwa parliament ro nyokekas ngalek ab in rurutik ab bor ko ikere ile it can really we need to define.
Kongoi missing chitab Kalenjin kotigere chake chang maswali chakakomuch kobwa en oret noton nebo Facebook akowalwok en komaloki kurigidi nekemwa ile isibech Duret Kiplangat ak chosibech koso yakotebut amuch kewalwok komwoiwon betab raini kemiten ak Philip Langat. Kamateben daktari Dr. Felix Keton kongalal en konekit kandoikab bolotet ak missing kekusingong senator nebo county nebo Kericho majority leader Kiptoyot komas kasit anan Aaron Cheruiyot kole makimache kapkirwok kochutyi boisiet noton nebo art institutions. Kamwa kole amune same kochutyi boisiet noton nebo bunge. Namu kakotake the process kemach keba kapkirwok kele okonun ketonosi ngalekab kele matkeyai ngalekab impeachment en Gachagua akoi tun kemuch anan kakile korong matkeyai ngalekab public participation. Kamwa kole okonech independence nenyonet keyai kasinyon matochutyi. En kele imiten en nguni. Ako manoto kityo nan ikere governors korwa akichek kapkirwok kotieme kotonosi kole mat kotestai ano kolen akichek county assemblies akolen akichek bunge ak senate kolen ometewech kitindoi en ngatutik katiaknatet kisuldaen oi koit let asikomuch kot komi kine kemwa koting'ok noton. Ikere kouon tieme kochutyi kapkirwok other institutions.
Like I said, that issue can be answered based on case-to-case basis. But generally speaking, en ngalekab impeachment, nebo president ak deputy president, the architecture nebo constitution ko kikochi kidoneten in this mandate to National Assembly and Senate. That is for the president and deputy president. And for the governors ko kikochi the mandate county assembly and the Senate. So at first instance, these institutions are expected to adhere to certain principles. Neta korongo ngalega public participation.
Yes.
Kunyo look why before impeaching. The second thing, kunyo look the affected party a right to fair administrative action. And if that was done by the county assembly, the National Assembly, and the Senate, if that procedural aspect was done, then I believe courts should not have any business interfering with the mandate of other constitutional institutions. However, it should be noted that all these institutions are subject to the supervisory jurisdiction in the High Court. The High Court could no power and jurisdiction could review that decision. Nega Megan either the Senate, the National Assembly, or even the County Assembly, if there is no compliance with the Constitution. However, philosophically, if you may permit me to conceptualize the question, there is what called the doctrine in political question doctrine, whereby there is an aspect of in politics, especially impeachment being a political tool. At first instance, courts of law should always exercise restraint. The procedure or the process up to the end. Now, when we have the end product, the court now will be able, if there is any aggrieved party, will be able to go to the court, and the court will have, an opportunity to audit whether there was a compliance with the Constitution. And in everything, even there is also what called the doctrine of exhaustion of internal remedies first. And there is also another doctrine called the doctrine of ripeness. The doctrine of the ripeness, the process. You only can go wrong the outcome, what the final process is, so that if you are dissatisfied, you can go or you can approach the courts of law. But if before the procedure or the process can be concluded, you rush to the court, then the matter is still it is not ripe for hearing or even interference by the court. So there are many contradicting philosophies in jurisdiction in views and in philosophical views on that. But my view, courts of law should always exercise judicial restraint in matters impeachment. However, the institutions from the county assembly to the National Assembly to the Senate must also adhere to the constitutional principles and tenets, including the national values and public participation in their mandate. Yes.
Okay. Natebenen kalionjini kekureni Tanui kalen sotik kale ubos Kiingereza kidogo makikuitosi biikab resort. Tanui amang'u ale ne siketiem ng'atutik komoche kouitu alak. Philip Langat.
Yes.
Ne nekekeren nguni kineti biikab kutit che kimiten kitom keite ile kakoit en nguni. Tam kemi nebo deputy governors ak governors kemoche keisto en boisiet. Kimi noton nebo deputy president noton kamwa emetab Raila Amason Kingi kole kasit nemi tainywan ko nyigis for the first time. Tam kesirto katiba noton nebo 2010. Arorwech en wakindo. Ngot kosirto Senate kebendi ano ako what next? Angot ko mosirto Senate ko what next?
Kararan tebutyonon keteb. En iman en history nebo Kenya kotom kai kekas kele kakimpichen en deputy president. En anan deputy presidents chekimi en tai yon akot rubeiwot nekibo president Moi nekile Joseph Murumbi. Ko kikoker kole mi ng'alek cheu chu kosib koresignen. Akibwoti kora ng'alekab Oginga Odinga rubeiwot nekibo Jomo Kenyatta. Ko kisib koresignen akine akosirchi barwet Kenyatta kole I'm no longer interested. So chuto chu ebe rubeiwot Rigathi Gachagua ko wendi koiku netai. Lakini nanyo kora amu keteb ile wany yon kakoit Senate ng'alek cheu chu ko ngot kobitisa Senate ko what is next? Anan ngot mabitisan Senate ko what is next? So ngomiten ngunon ele kimi ngunon kokonyor notice Amason Kingi kole kakokon parliament kole keimpichen Rigathi Gachagua. So kit netai koron nenyolu koyai speaker ko constituten a hearing committee. Kaikuye ko en hearing committee ko icheket chekinde kole wany tos charges chu kokikochi koki allegations chu against Gachagua wany ko iman miten in the threshold anan not.
Ager kamwa kosirto noton nebo committee.
Yes.
Ager kamwa kole kekas the full house.
So yon mosirto, first of all, you know, we have a motion mover in that committee and we have a seconder. So for whatever cases got called the seconder, we are not, it is not the charges are not solid. Ko imuch kowek plenary the full house. So ko amune ng'alekab Gachagua kele full house ko kikochin akine Rigathi Gachagua keljin ko lian koteteangei akine anan komwa kwaror akine kole kiu. So he has to go on defense amun tindo akine en ogiliekchik chekoron koteteani akine kole kiune ng'alek. So this is what my colleague Felix was saying. Fair administration. Kakikochi akine Gachagua kasarta koteteangei. Amache amwa kit agenge en Shadrack. Amache amwa kora biikab kastoikyok ak chekere Kass TV raini. From a legal perspective, ng'alechu kokikoi Gachagua ko in mae saiti en ane naker, manyigisen saiti. Lakini mi kit agenge nekwakas anan nakose komwoe kora biik chebo emet kolenen wany maandamano chukibo Gen Z ko kikotinygei ak Rigathi Gachagua. Kot kikotinygei ak Rigathi Gachagua amun kiit kele maandamano chu kokimi iman. Lakini maandamano chukibo Nyeri town ko kokile kimi siya, kikotinygei ak Gachagua. Ko en kerenyun ane kit nekabar Gachagua, kit noton nokere ane ole miten
but we cannot even go to that and we cannot substitute. What we are only saying is we go as per the ground.
No, but you see, we have grounds. We have the ground.
And we don't want to mention issues which we are not aware. But what we are only saying is we go as per we analyze the grounds.
Ani matage in Felix Keton. Ndakitebe kit nemi taitab bunge ko kit nemi taitab kapkirwok nekile ne matkechuti.
You know, like we kamwa Ginomi, the grounds chebo impeachment chebo president ak deputy president under Article 150. Konga like a gross violation the constitution and ango other laws. That threshold to fulfill that threshold about gross violation, because there should be a nexus. And if there is an element, one nexus established in Wambora case, you should demonstrate that there was a nexus between the person you are trying or the subject, like in this case in Rigathi, at that commission, what those acts. The second thing, it's a very funny fluid ground where there are reasons to believe that the president or deputy president, as in, breaching the constitution in the national or international law. It is what we call in the political offense of in suspicion. Imagine if there are, Bana Shadragi, there are reasons to believe.
Yes.
To that extent, the courts of law, they have not managed to settle the threshold. And that's why if the matter goes to court, some of the issues that we want the court to illuminate, what amounts to reasonable grounds.
Yes.
Reasonable to which standard and by what yardstick and who determines the reasonability and what are the tests to be used. So those are very serious issues which to me it's a fluid ground and anybody can be impeached on that.
Shadrach, mi aenge na kama chamwa sio mwangalegap brigade ka shagwa ngalekap Gen Z.
Yes.
Koin kiworu be what intended in kota boror in Mombasa. Agityo ko mwa kwarorchi neo nebo intelligence kolenji you have not done your homework. Ndakori ya homework nengu kimatabitu ngalekap in maandamano.
Yes.
So the deputy is part and parcel of the presidency. Ako symbol nebo president, symbol nebo unity. Ako ngalekap security. Ngalekap keribe emoni ko mangalek chekibendi akibar ngany en emet kuno. Makibendi kityo kelen la kalyan in Nurdin Haji. So kwagerane ole kiyai makosa. Rubeyuot ko ngalale ngalekap national security nebo this country. Ako mwa kole the intelligence did not do their work. Ako kiimuchi ker Twitter nebo Nurdin Haji. Kimwa akine Nurdin Haji kole in fact we even have files for you but we don't work like that. So kamwa man akine my colleague kole on the issues of court. Kotine anakap kirwa konyone baadaye. Kokakoamua kesit in Senate with a majority that is 2/3, which is not less than 45 senators. Kwa hiyo kakoamua ko ikimucha ngebe kotine after that. And the issues I want to agree with him kole kimae keker kele what is the test on the what is reasonable grounds for impeachment. Otherwise reasonable grounds of impeachment committed under Article 150 of the Constitution. And I think allegations alak kokimwa ne ko kwager ko manyigisen saidi lakini mi alak cheu chombo national security ko kwager ko nyigisen en gerenyu.
The third ground ko ngalolen bwana Shadraki utichambwa na testai.
Yes.
Ko the ground gross misconduct. That gross misconduct as a ground gogerga mutewet name anywhere. Because if you ask yourself what amounts to gross misconduct, if you were to use the threshold in the Nancy Baraza case, one of the grounds also for removal of judges, which are also state officers, gross misconduct.
Yes.
The case of Nancy Baraza set the highest threshold. Because in the allegations in Nancy Baraza then as a deputy chief justice, Kogile in Kipinjan in Zeruta in a bodyguard.
You should know people.
That alone was sufficient to remove her out of office as a deputy chief justice and judge of the Supreme Court. So if we were to apply the Nancy Baraza test on gross misconduct, then all these in public officers, the president, the deputy president, or even the governors, if they were to be impeached,
yes,
they will all go home. So to me, that ground of gross misconduct, it touches on many other issues. And the threshold niggas and Nancy Baraza, it will go much in, it will go much go thin, and it will be substantiated if that was the ground to be used. So to me, based on the ground, certain and even if, and you remember also one thing. If one ground is proven, a president or deputy president or a governor can be removed. So if the threshold were to be applied and based on the material that were placed before the National Assembly and the Senate, if that threshold or that test were to be applied, then it can be said that in committed the threshold about the impeachment.
In case it no meet and kirwalk in betabra in High Court, we do go on Friday to let tos gigoitos or meet Chief Justice Mada Kome. kokon anan kekom kale multi church bench asikomuch kenai kotinye ak somet noton nebo okilinik choton chebo Rigathi Gachagua ngot komuch kitonosi kakwautiet nebo impeachment. Tesetai kapkirwok ak kirwokonoton tesetai akine Senate ak komostanywan. Ainon nito kole tos tokim nebo kapkirwok fakai ni kaitat mwisho ni
First of all, in ngalekab, unlike for other people, impeachment nebo in Rigathi Gachagua deputy president by Republic of Kenya, could there were no any single order, there were no conservative orders that were issued by the High Court. Mami order no go tin will mat contest that process. So my violated any law the National Assembly and the Senate, because as we speak right now, come meet any single order in the Senate should be injected or should be prevented from proceeding with the process. So there is nothing. So that in strategy, you know, in every litigation there's what called the strategy. The strategy to say, because before you can empanel or constitute an even number of judges, then there should be a novel point of law,
yes,
which requires consideration by an even number of judges. In other words, in point a point on points of law the novel in to magi kose when you allow 3 judge bench. So to me that strategy is a delaying tactic, because by the time the Chief Justice were to empanel the uneven number of judges, who knows, the Deputy President might have already been impeached, so the matter will be overtaken by events. So to me that strategy it is against the interest of our Deputy President, because it takes time to empanel an even number of judges, and by the time it is empaneled, the procedure or the process will already have taken place. So there will be nothing to inject alone. So there will be no conservative orders. So to me, I think that is a delaying tactic. It goes against the interest of the Deputy President.
Indono ngune Philip Langat ne tan serikalit nebo Kenya Kwanza kakotok kole much kaimpeach Deputy President ko war kole much kaimpeach na the President. What next? Impeach ko iwat ile during the public participation ko mabi kole ngogme kabatul. Ne ko mabi kachang kole ndogibe ngaleka public participation ndogibe geretab biik ko lene biik mat ko Gachagua ngoba bichutwana ingu kobaten mongen ole kiibe ngalalet biik ana kiibe the written submission. Kage reason the threshold. Again, Deputy President can impeach. So meaning that the President can be impeached.
Yeah, the President and the Deputy can be impeached. Lani ngine ngalole ra en ran nguni Shadrack ngalole in the impeachment about Deputy President. Amu ire gunon ni le impeachment about President. Ko yache ko mi motion iman kachameta bi anambi gaboror kole katagi impeachment wan amu impeach ko imit on a joint ticket. Lakini manguole there is a motion, even though there is a Dan Manzo Senator wa uyanenu kambani kwa kole
Senate.
Yes, maje ko nominate Senate ngalega impeachment of President. Let us even assume in our fertile imaginations kele kagimpicha na nyinguni president ak deputy president kono yota asikoliana. You see, we cannot run a country like that. Mami them president or mami them deputy. So the practical, first of all, to be practical, come a practical impeach and both. Ago kinegalole nguni ko motion nagogonyo in parliament kono ba impeachment wa Rigathi Gachagua. Ago kuyanga ko kaiga ka warorwich in emete ko there are reasons to impeach His Excellency Deputy President Rigathi. So kacha meta big man anan maoni chebo biik chebo emet kole kabendi tuan president agin deputy president. Lakini it is impossible. Maimukakse amun chamait korong nebo UDA ko the chair anan the leader nebo chamait nebo UDA ko president. Ako yo miten ngalek che gere wanachama chebo UDA kole machobok ko he also is part of the process. So it is almost an impossibility. These are things it is only better imagined than experienced. Among mamiten in what we are currently facing. It is not possible.
So to add on that, road negative deputy president is the same road negi muche getlen the president, because any procedure negi boy is in article 145 and in article 150 the procedure negi is to president ko garga negi is deputy president. So in short the procedure negi formula negi boy is in ki is to deputy president ko formula no president. Ago, if you were to apply the threshold, nuko ge loaren. It will still meet the threshold for the president. The only thing we are go impeachment is a political tool. Ago, for you to be successful, first of all, you should get a third of the members of National Assembly to append their signature to support your motion. And for that motion to sail through in the National Assembly, you should garner 2/3 majority support to approve. Same case the Senate, you should also garner 2/3. And as we speak right now, the practicality and the practical situation obtaining, the current president enjoys the majority support in about the senators and members of National Assembly. So it will be difficult in for anybody when you support the president. Secondly, there is also the question of who will bear the cut. Because in someone the courage to present the motion against the president. But if at all you were
the president, but in the last minute.
Yes, but when it comes to the grounds, the grounds, in the same grounds, Jegi Mujagi is in deputy president. Ki Mujagi is the president. Road 20 deputy president. Ki Mujagi the president. Ki Mujagi any other governor in the Republic of Kenya. If the threshold and the standards were to be followed. The only question is the only saving grace for the president. Go to the support in our National Assembly members, senators. So it is impossible for these senators and members of National Assembly to exercise that mandate. But the grounds are there.
Okay, but the angle of the president, deputy president in Kasi Tab and one. Kangalan senators, impeachment. What next from there?
Yeah, Article 145 is very clear. The deputy president shall cease to hold office. However, the Article 145 is silent leaning to go to but legally speaking, Kotindo Navasi and Amboroinda, deputy president, go gap kirwok. I go stain the execution. Kolomatkia upon another deputy president as he challenges the process. So much was even gap kirwok, come key stand office pending the outcome gap kirwok. If there is any order. But also there will also be a difficulty to enforce that order because I will want to see a situation whereby the deputy president is going to court and saying, oh, I'm prevented by the president from attending the security committee meeting or the cabinet. Because assuming now go against the end of this as the deputy president, I get in the cabinet, in security meeting, when the government support the everything. I mean, it will be a frustrating situation because at the end of the day, I don't think in the courts will have because one Article 145 ends and he sees the whole office. It will be an Herculean task for him to continue serving as the deputy president, even if he was to secure the court order because of the practical situation obtaining. You will have to sit in the security committee, the cabinet meeting to chair the IBEC. But you see now you are at the point temporary incumbency. You are only sustained by a court order and there are some things you cannot do. And remembering also your boss being the president is also difficult. How will you even say the president with the content of court? Because the current constitution, you cannot sue the president. The president, sorry, your boss is the president. You attend the security committee meeting, you attend the cabinet, and also what will you do? Whom will you sue? So it will be an interesting scenario.
So nge wuren kagista en kasi tabangwan sa isegap kimbo munangalu until late. So gazette man come back with the following day.
It can the same hour. The same hour.
Aga point the next.
Yes. The matter will be overtaken by events, but still, you know, that's why I'm telling you the legal quagmire and the political quagmire will be interesting. And it's also an unprecedented scenario which we are waiting to see.
Yes. Kila kitu go new entire nyon and what next after this. Philip Langat.
Yes.
It's a political process.
Yes.
During the public participation, Kogi got a lot of attention for the first time like deputy president. Kiger and Bomas, Jensis Yangal, Tom Gay public participation on no would be a mot or checking the lemi. Tam gay which get man of governors, Kotam Gito, Minago Togal, go my Koya Nyan, Moon, or Doshida.
You know, the political process of what deputy president. Gravity number 1001. It was high octane in the measure because even the level of compliance with the constitution is very fine. That is one thing I am even optimistic as a country. If we want to do something, we have the will and the ability to do. Because in impeachment by the president, the nature or the extent of compliance with the constitution is very encouraging, because for the first time, public participation, there's a lot of, in fact, even how the resources even were obtained to do the work is also very interesting, because any other mover, if you were to move for any other person, or even the county assembly, for instance, if they were to do the public participation, even they are proven those funds in public participation, like in the level at which everything was seamless, is an interesting, and I think it is high octane in gravity one issues. The constitution was complied with.
Setting ragi nagamwa my colleague Felix.
Yes.
Ko yangemwa Shadrack. Ingeni for the first time ke witness any this scenario. Tom kaya keger ngalega impeachment nebo rubeiwot ab president. So go nyolunot kora na ko magat ke gin nin nenotok. Ko le moy tang ngatutik. Imagine ndakor makiya ngalega public participation. Ko lo ko kyaita en Bomas. Ko ta chang questions ana ko ta chang ngalek ko ta mwoe biik kole bak makikochi chichek ine nabas kolya koteteange ko kikere kotino busy bodies cheu Morara Kebaso cheko bwana akichek komoe koyai ngalekab ko public participation ako kokikoshi akichek is kergen ko busy bodies as such, you know, they are human beings also, even though they are busy bodies, they are citizens also, and they deserve, so everyone, be it busy bodies, be it activists, they can air their views. That is the beauty of democracy now in Yon. Amun chitul kikochin ak nerabas. Okorikiji koko mi mabika kiche yu mwa kule le one in katakinyochi ngatich. And that might lead us to the next question. Kele why after the impeachment, assuming kole kage impeachment regarding ko ne ngalega polatet en emoni. Amun kikere kora kele rikiji koko tindo kora movement neonia in central and en ngalega Murima ko chang bi ko chamat ak ne chichi ko ngalek chu yon chikekere kele what is the political repercussions kora wan ko tot ko destabilize the country and dot kolyan lakini kukere kele leu ngune ko mamangwa le tot kobit a lot of friction ko kityo mara ko kira kichek biikab olimboin biikab kagoye kole auon kaburto na emet auon kakimach kitiarech en serikali kidogo lakini mangen ale tindo strategy ainon chamaitab UDA which is led by His Excellency William lakini angen ale ngalechu Brigiji to an extent I agree amun kingonam Brigiji konam kole watu wangu ya Murima, you know, kukitindo some tribal undertones. As a deputy president, because even if you look at the composition of the government, actually, most of these positions are cabinet slots. Ko meeting again agpiga Murima. So mongan ole ne gini gi moer gi jigo lo one kiburu ko one dissatisfied with the government. But you see now that is a very divisive way of looking at things. So game manile in ngalega impeachment ko it is very historic ko ganye ke girage ke ne how are we going to how are Kenyans going to receive this because it is unprecedented. Yeah.
Ugacha mungema ile it's political lazima ko wala alignment kwa siasa ko gere MPs karibu 10 chiko much kwalte lenywan ko sire antani amo kole wendi ko gojin gosibeta we sian lage ko mi ngalalet noton ko ba muna ngala logi liata ko gile ko ngalalet nebo Timothy Kipchumba MB no Marakwet West no tono na mo kole nyolu ko monyol ki okay ki magorongo le vote ne inendet no momache ko aga shabwa ko batengi ko ta somet kole kori ko ntelet bosho ler yotab speaker ak speaker agene watangula kole amune so ko ntele ngwong en siasa ako mai kora oyu the one chiko mo chondoje the process na was there a difference between a political statement and rallies akianga get bunge imache inyene ke tonje ngalekab kosirtoetab kashagwa either kembichana ko mat kembichana
first of all you see the me standing orders governing the process and the Korea process in impeachment. The second thing, being a party issues, being a in whips in respective parties, to make sure their members go voting on a certain way. I will be independent candidates, just they are neither pro this side or this side, but they can vote whichever way. So the party loyalty and you can weapon the party or the party position to a greatest extent it goes because and they get the voting in Nabo Azimio and Kenya Kwanza, where you could see the hand in the party line. They were properly whipped to vote in a certain direction. However, members of National Assembly, they are also independent in their own capacity. But the party issues and the party position plays a great role. Even there also the question of the standing orders. I've been presiding speaker, for instance, I'm fair. I was misquoted. And at the greatest, from the independent objective point of view, because speaker doesn't cast any vote. The vote in the members of the National Assembly and the will rest with the members of the National Assembly or the senators. Yes. So the ruling by the speaker National Assembly in it was a fair because in Kobor will go any interest go conducting the president in a fair way, go in deputy president in a fair trial or a fair hearing or right to be had. So to that extent, wherever, even though there are many members of parliament who can go expressing or pronouncing their position in publicly and they change it, this within their discretion and it's within their right to change their position or their views.
Komiga wata mwege luanga maiko chakta Amazon King yanan Senate taget ak taunetab kenoton ng'alalen ng'alechu en betutab amut ak betutab raini kakemuch kegazeten kakemuch kele kiyokto declare Elizabeth Mbarwet ilenji koappearen keribi kole moving through so fast.
The Constitution, Article 145 of the Constitution is very clear. Within 2 days, the Speaker of the National Assembly should transmit the resolution to the Senate. And 2 days is the maximum. So it's from 0 to 2. So the Speaker of the National Assembly go exercise their discretion within that 2 days. So even though it was instantaneous transmission of the resolution, it was within that 2 days. Also, the Speaker of the Senate also got to 7 days. To constitute, to go the House, to discuss whether to form a committee or the matter to be dealt with in plenary. And they did that one within 7 days. So 7 days is from 0 to 7. Yes. And we cannot fault the houses for expediting and for doing some in their things quickly because there is also the element of public interest and also the issues involved. So to me, any problem because it is a matter of expediting, which is good because even in the Constitution, you are even anything touching you have a right to expedite the hearing of anything. So to me, I think it's within the legal parameters.
Yes, Lan.
Yeah, Mama ngwale go delay na anago cha.
Ira fast nyagelen 7 days ago iwe just komut ago isubuhi gazete.
Kale ko ucho lakini lo amia nego yoto galen magichaktaen amun tindoi mwoe ngatutik kole within 7 days ko yocho ka communicate and the speaker kole denet nyolu kotestai. Ngandang ogere man the public position agane kakas kole nji luwon kakichaktaen ki luwo mi kinde woni ndekekete kabisa
ngokiamwana.
It looks like that, but legally speaking amun there is also the political aspect of things. Ko imuch man ko mi en ole keketito ngalechu lakini legally ko magere agane shida komi tisya amun 7 days is what is given by the law. Ago Amazon King is executing his mandate ko le nyolundo. So magere ko baten kityo ke mwaman ako ingela ngalechu ko very weighty. Impeachment is deputy president ko maraisi.
And very political.
Very political kara. Ako mi big ingele anything go wala tot ko wala game. Kagile one day in politics is like it is there are so many things a long time. Very many things can change. Nyasu garon golene nuwa ga kongetin ka konge Raila ako lejibi ki ko mata ke ba inorane. So it has to be that is now the political perspective. And this is my opinion. So politics ko walak tuguk chechang within a very short period of time. So alen notok ne amune sigegere ko wong kakichaktaen ngalekab deputy president. Lakini as I've said, it is within the legal timelines. Yeah.
Kala kasarta hagere mo ko logi wong so mucha goni paraida kityo Dr. Felix Keton si mwawich maybe your final remarks ke benetai kitindai kasarta noton bo agoi betutab Jumatatu so much ke gusingong Senate ko baten en nguni ko mongwol ngalek tesetai ko myogeli na kichek kit na much ko goita during the cross examination ko baten ko agere ke mwa kele kikon almost all the information kashagwa during the interview not agere ko machi ko mwachi batangola ko legi lasi machi kuongea machi ngalen vibaya parliament tos komi kit nekinget nekibwoti kele much kondo Gachagua garit nemuch komi ngweny mesa nebwoti kole much koboisien sikosar inendet anan yekakeiten nguni ko Senate kiniamwani kila kitu.
From the president, certain especially in the Wambora case, for the High Court to review or to intervene or to exercise jurisdiction, unless we give public participation and we going a right to be heard. But in the substantive issues, it rests with the Senate. Even though there is also an exciting phenomena, in Wambora case, there should be a nexus between the allegations and whether you committed. But we leave that to the court.
Yes.
Like in the substantially the process, it was compliant with the constitution. So from where we sit, everything was in the procedure and the process was followed. So there are slim chances for the deputy president and in the courts of law. The only saving grace unless we convince the senators, alak ko support so that in the 2/3 threshold ko magnor. But be that as it may, our kini gongo big up call engine, ago alleging alega bolotet impeachment, kung alega bolotet, ago matinyo graya. Ngalej po chutu go bolotet mami ngalega bin mwananchi. So mwananchi geso magityo biga bor contestaga sinywane. Ak boisien nywane ak ogilge ona wala ngale chu bo bolotet matinyo ngale ke tinyo chu ngale ga health SHIV ko tom ge adressen wa go jongu ni go ko nyor ngale ga bin medical cover go wi ngale ga kriche ngale ga service delivery ngale ga baro boroshe tos tu che tinyo wananji ko tom ge adressen. So it's upon wananji ko demanding service delivery from the elected in leaders so that they can deliver. All these other things go side shows. Oh, the magnitude galogin or pagi namgo and a mogi namgo. Oh, the deputy president ginda. It does not change your life as a common mananji. So long for cousin on our issues, I go yagi mucho gongi get testagi gilge. On our machamechi, we are on our own as the citizens. Sorry, onge gas in yonagi gilge.
So what missing? Philip Langat in Aliot in Novalet Kitiotinga Agnatan. Gangole Felix, you are no one is a community and okay.
Ako tane ko abot si kogi no lege buat ang lain ni kamu gitu le gongo gara missing na gitu gara la gongo missing Shadrack Mungaret aja jeng kita sih itu. So bit kemo ay bigap ka kogi no ngalega impeachment ahora ke mo ahora ngalega maendeleo. No kamanut nasire kita itu kul ngale juga ke ngalal ko ngalega service delivery. Amajayan gi nagama Felix kulle. Kararan gora ngibuat yung ngalega siasa amun siasa ko pa na siasa. Kagile politics, they are no permanent enemies. Ako mamiten permanent friends. Nyum gora igero gora Gachagua garonga gora tina kita ke. So matonge forecast peak yok en ngalega bulaton. Bulatit ko nyone ki miten ODM beshora ni ke biden jigele Jubilee ke UD and so forth and so on. But gina macha moy big up ka ongi gilge. Kapwa Felix kole we are on our own. Ako gere gile ulewendi to serikali ulewendi to ngalega uchumi. Chang du chinyol tage discussion cha tu cha tage bwana bishora ge ngalalen ngalega SH chang kabisa akon ngalega bonus chu ko amun ongnole bi kap ka lo marabi ge nandi anan bi ge ngericho ko botinge ko la aragilion ngalega bonus ngale chu jona en ngalega chai ki mo chini ki bi kap ka ge lenjin mo siasa ko siasa politit ko politit ako matongi ko en ki botinge saiti serikali ni ko kikinyoru keljin kemi serikali ako kikinyoru bahati so magere ko kikinyoru kap kikinyoru serikali ko ki ne the next ko keborchinge kigilge keker kele yes ko kimi ma serikali lakini ko torti jana serikali. So I also want to encourage our people ko ger ko ngalekab devolution and whether it's working or not ngalekab their representation by the members of parliament. Otherwise ko I want to emphasize ngalekab siyasa ko karkagin, you know, we cannot, one thing is happening today karon ko miten kita ganeter lakini ngalekab boisionik akigilge ko noton neki kemwa kabisa ke with a lot of emphasis. Yeah.
Gut missing amang'u ale katos ya final remark. Kongoi chitab Kalenjin. Kongoi kakimiten ak inendet Philip Langat, inendet ko ogiliot. Kemwa 1 minute, kemwa ngalekab devolution, is it working from where you are?
Yeah, devolution is working because
Amu ngale ngalekab teething problems. Ele kimi nguni ko all those time.
Honestly,
the devolution before Felix goes just a minute, Shadrach. Devolution is working. We have a lot of counties. They are getting some things that were not there before devolution. The fruits of the devolutions can be seen. I was in Wajir County the other day, and I can tell you those people, they have roads, they have these things that they never used to have. So in Kerenyun, in a very quick way, devolution is working. Let us just hold our leaders to account. Absolutely.
Devolution is not working because in allocation to counties wrong. Secondly, substantial amount of allocation go in recurrent expenditure. Putin could in development expenditure. So resources go and counties go in to mushara, malagi again bills like in Mabendi, Nalaga development. Nalaga Barabo Shakutum Gachap in counties, Nalaga in health being a devolved function. Komigila Mandamano Dagtaria in medical health. Practitioners could demand note ki goza line magi go engora. The only devolve aspect like in devolution the only thing the funds je work in kunga lega bin CDF jango declare and go in as unconstitutional. So tam giger tam go projects in guy on tam go so mesan no log lega pasare. Ko nga lega CDF check and like in any other line CDF kuma devolution. That was the only funds that were jabo isi line nga lega devolution. Kuma ba isi. So unless in
willingness never support and go.
No, you see now we cannot have a scenario whereby the substantial part of in funds, devolved funds go in the recurrent expenditure. We should have more of a development expenditure so go nam go barabara projects that is development line the recurrent go take substantial lay on shaglu and ngalega in expenditure bills to counties. Then there will be nothing that it beats the essence of ngalega devolution.
Another question about Kasarta. Philip Langat.
Yes.
What kasita bunge?
Yes.
Koyai ngalega investigation. Chigumo ito ere ga shakwa ngone ko ngono go that investigation got kona le ki bon ngatu tegene akyu. Ngongo me MPs ko moy go paiseta MPs ana paiseta bunge koyai investigation.
Mama ngole paiseta bunge go first of all is very clear under the constitution ko le ngalega bunge ko legislation. Lakini meutie ngora ile bunge nicho chito ko kikikoi kora powers ko impeachen under article 150 kotindo kora bunge chamdaet ko impeachen. So because this is an impeachment process koyoche kikochi tindo chamdaet bunge ko impeachen. Lakini now impeachment cannot be carried out without grounds. Kunoto magase nywango investigaten lakini kotienge ngalek kikikomwa kokero kinye charges kotienge ngalek chekimiten emet chekimiten public. Kicham komwae regarding kole Muriba tribalism and so forth and so ngale cho tugul cho ko chargen in regarding. Lakini it is not their work to investigate. But remember tindo jamdat ko impeachment. Yes. So impeachment is that is why kamwa my colleague in Dogorongo kunyoru kole magi follow the process. Kotinda ne chamdaet in regard kwa gotine akole magi sit boisione. Ako ne ile tinda ne regard the opportunity na dogeljin kogoita defense na nyinet. Kole eng aleju ko mwa chukul kole ko atinyanga na ole atinye chamdaet na amwa ole maanga leju. Ngotole ne kia I was tribal ko maak ako he was given that chance. He was on national TV. Ako ta kwendi kora senate ale nyoru kora keljin komwa kole tuguchu tugul chu kakimwa atinye defense. So imuch matindo investigation as such lakini the beauty about this process ko irube yu atakine kutulo ne tindo chance tindo keljin komwa ngene his side of the story. Yeah.
What missing? Yeah. Chitab Kalenjin kakimiten ak Philip Langat inendet ko ogiliot ak Dr. Felix Keaton. Among wala gamwa komye kagetyem nya ngeten getab tutuitet kainanan chitab Kalenjin kainenyu ko Shadrach Mutai kakitlet emet tutuitet ager ka chang maswali kobaten ye masomani en nguni kobaten kagemuch kewalwa ke chang en choton kotiya ngalekab impeachment noton nemiten taitab Senate noton nebo rubeiwot noton nebo president Rigathi Gachagua tos much kotindo keljin kotestai en boisienyin anan wendi keisto inendet kigeni sikenai en wikit nenyone keng'alalen miten kora tait noton nebo senate en wikit nenyone kasitab Jumatatu kasitab aeng kora keng'ololen kotiengei ak governor nebo county nebo Kericho Dr. Eric Mutai so tindo boisiet neo en wikit nenyone senate kenai kele tos wendi koyai kou anan wendi kamwa kole tam komwoe Kelino kole moe kobur kouon kakiyai komie tam komwoite ano.
Yes, it should not only be done, but should be seen should be seen to be done. In other words, ko kit agetugul nekiyae konyolu kotok kole kakiyai kou notet. Ako kou yan kakeng'alal element of public participation is very key. Ako kora kimwoini kora institutions kora chebo governance. Jeu Senate, Jeu National Assembly konyolu kosib ng'atutik. Once there is a court order stopping the process, they have no business proceeding. That's what we can say.
Okay, kot mising kot ketau kora keteb kele tau amun angemwa kele kan koitu court order katestai the process komuch kora ketau another topic lakini non kobo betut age. Kainenyu ko Shadrack Mutai amakon kagetugul nemie testai Kass TV amun kimnatet night.